Hey guys, welcome back to part 3 of Qbert. I'm going to get the cabinet sanded down today, and I want to paint the two sides yellow, and then we'll let it dry for a couple days. We'll tape them off, and then we'll paint the black parts. I'm going to start with 180 grit sandpaper, and then we'll go up to 320 grit sandpaper. I'm going to use the old piece I have left on the sander, and then we'll switch to a new piece. I'm probably going to have to do a little bit of filling in still. There's some divots here and there, so we'll just see how it looks once we sand it down. Hook up the air hose real quick. There we go. Okay, I'm going to keep sanding this. Looks like most of the imperfections are coming out, so I'll get this side sanded down and then we'll do a close-up look at it. Okay, this is the first side. I think it's sanded down really well, actually. I'm not really seeing any imperfections that I need to address on this side. So now I'm going to spin the cabinet around and do the same thing on the other side. Okay, this side turned out nice as well, so now I'm going to spin it in the front. Oh, I did sand the back and the top. So I want to get the front sanded now. Same thing as everything else. Okay, now I gotta go get a piece of sandpaper and get in the corners. Oops. These corners, as you can see right there, and then there's one on the other side. So I'm just gonna come in and hit all the edges and everything by hand. Try to just take my time and get them all nice and clean. My Buck Hunter Safari is leaving today in the basement. It's sold, and the guy's picking it up later on this afternoon. So that frees up another spot down there for more of these games. We had it for a couple of years. Now the monitor needs rebuilt and stuff, and nobody really ever played the game. So it's time for it to move on. It's going to Chicago. So I'm going to sit here and sand all these edges, and then I'll come back and we'll look at it. Okay, all the tedious little corners and everything are sanded. Now I'm going to take this red Scotch-Brite pad, which this is equivalent to like 320 or 400 grit sanding on filler primer. So I'm just going to go and we're just going to stuff this whole thing back up again. Real good. Just take my time, go over it, make sure I didn't miss any imperfections. And then this is ready to get blown off. We can put it in the spray booth. Then I want to sand the door and the speaker grill, the back door and the speaker grill part, even though I'm not painting them today. Since I have all the sander and everything out, I might as well just get them sanded down and have them ready to paint. So I'm going to go around now and scuff this whole cabinet like this really good. And then I'll get it blown off and we'll get it in the spray booth. Okay, I'm gonna get this slid in the spray booth and then we will pull out those other two panels. Okay, now I'm gonna get this sanded down in the back door. See how rough this looks when you first start sanding it? That's the texture that was in the wood from being swollen up from moisture over the years. So I'll show you what it looks like once I get it sanded down. Now you can see the difference. It's nice and smooth. So all those imperfections are gone. So now I'm going to sand this back door, and then we're ready to paint the yellow on the cabinet. We still got to blow it off again and wipe it down. So I'm going to go ahead and hit this with the sander, then I'll come back. Now the outside of this door is pretty rough. So we'll see what it looks like when we sand it down. It doesn't need to be perfect. It's gonna be satin black. So let me get it sanded down and I'll come back. It actually turned out pretty smooth. Not too bad. I mean, you can see where I went through on the wood and stuff, but that'll be just fine. There'll be a little bit of pitting, but it won't be too bad. So, all right, now I'm gonna get everything cleaned up out here, blow this stuff off, blow the floor out and everything, and then we will get in the spray booth and get the yellow sprayed on the cabinet. Okay, I'm gonna blow this off one more time, and then we'll wipe it down with some wax and grease remover. kind of dirty out there. I really need to clean it. But I just put some cardboard down under the cabinet and it'll be fine for this, what I'm doing today. The color that I'm going with is Performance Yellow, which is the yellower of the two. It's not this yellow, it's the lighter yellow. I had one person send me a message and comment, so he agreed. Actually, he said I would use the Performance Yellow, and I agree with him. I think it's probably the better color of the two. So thank you to Alan for reaching out to me and giving me your opinion. I'm not going to give your last name. Just wanted to say thank you for reaching out and telling me your opinion. So we're going to get this off the shaker. We're going to get it mixed up, and we will get the yellow on. Now this yellow is going to be glossy after I put it on, but then we're going to go over it with the satin clear coat, and that will dull the paint down. So I have the clear right here. We'll actually just start running the mixer now so that it gets stirred up. So let me get this set up and we'll get some yellow mixed up. Okay, let's get this yellow mixed up here. This is a 4-to-1 mix, and I'm going to put a little bit of hardener in it just to thin it out a little bit so it's not as thick. I'm sorry, I'm going to put a little reducer in it. It takes the hardener. So we'll put a little bit of reducer in it so it's not as thick. So we'll probably mix up quite a bit. We'll probably end up putting on a good 3 coats, because in these yellow colors like this, and you're going over gray primer, it has a tendency to turn green. Not like green, but it has like a greenish hue to it. So I want to make sure I get enough yellow on so it's not green looking at all. None of the edges or anything like that. So I might be putting 3 or 4 coats on. I'm not sure. I don't know how well this is going to cover over what's out there. So I'm going to get this mixed up here. We'll go to our mark, our 4-to-1 mark on the cup, and we're going to take it all the way up to just past the 4 with the color. And then we'll match that just above the 4 with the hardener. Now we're going to throw some reducer in there. And now this is a single stage paint, so you don't want to take your paint stick and put it back into this quart, because there'll be hardener on it and it'll ruin that paint. So you want to make sure you keep it separate. I'm just going to throw a little bit in there. About 10%. Get this mixed up. We'll see. We'll probably get about 2 coats with this. Close to it, depending on how it's going on. I'm going to take an older tack cloth. I'm not going to open up a new one for this. I'm just going to wipe the sides down with the tack cloth, and then we can start getting the yellow on. I do plan on washing that monitor on this part 3. I want to get that washed and start getting it to dry out. So I'm going to get this all ready to go, and then we will start putting the yellow on here. I got to put my mask on and get the tack cloth and stuff like that. about 10 minutes and we'll put another coat on. The fumes are taking a little bit longer to exhaust out because my filters are really dirty. I haven't changed those filters in a while. I painted, boy, I think I painted Tapper, Galaxian, Wizard of War, some Qberts, and now I'm painting this, plus all the primering and stuff, so those filters are pretty clogged up. So after this, I'm gonna have to blow the booth all out, change the filters, and get it ready for the black on this cabinet, because I don't want to keep using those filters. As you can see, if you notice when that first coat went on, how it looks kind of green, and that's what I was talking about with these lighter color yellows over gray. The only way to combat that, because if you can see it, I mean, you can see through the paint right here and stuff, and it's got like a greenish hue to it. The only way to combat that would be to put a white base coat down first or a white sealer, but I'm trying not to put a ton of material onto the cabinet because it just doesn't need it. It's not a car, it's an arcade game. So we don't need to go loading this thing up with 10 coats of paint and clear and everything else. So we're gonna let this set for about another 8 minutes or so, and then we will put the second coat on. I'm gonna let that dry for about 20 minutes and then we'll put a coat or two of clear over top. Okay, now we're gonna mix up some satin clear. This is also a 4-to-1 mix. We'll probably put 2 coats on. And we're going to put a little reducer in this as well. Get this mixed up, and then we will go out there and put 2 coats of this on. Okay, you can see how this is drying to a nice satin finish. So it's not like super glossy or anything like that. And it'll dull up a little bit more as it cures. I like the color. I think that's about right on from what I can see online from the pictures. You know, obviously I'm going from a picture, but I think that's close enough for me. So this is going to dry for a couple days, and then we'll tape off the sides, and then we'll come back and we'll shoot all the black front, inside, back, and all that. So next thing I'm going to do here in a little bit is clean that arcade monitor for this, and then that'll end part 3. Okay, I'm getting this monitor ready to wash, and if you look here, this is pretty interesting. It's pretty ingenious, really. So somebody took a side of another frame for a monitor and bolted it to the original monitor so that they can turn this sideways and bolt it into the cabinet. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking these bolts out here. I'm just gonna throw this away. I have no use for something like this. So they basically turn a vertical monitor into a horizontal by cutting part of another monitor chassis apart and bolting it to the side of the original one. So we're gonna just toss this. I have no use for this. And so I'm gonna get this outside and we can get it washed. I'm gonna spray it down real good with simple green. We'll let it soak for a little bit and then we'll wash it. And then I want to JB weld the coin door, which we'll do that in a couple minutes. Okay, I'm gonna spray this down real good with this simple green. We'll let it soak for a little bit. It's pretty dirty. Okay, we'll let that set. I might spray it down with another coat. So now what I want to do is, let's see this, let me get this set up here. You can see this chip right here where somebody had tried to pry the coin door open. Now, if this was a regular steel coin door, I would just weld this back together, but this is like a cast aluminum. So what we're gonna have to do here is, I'm gonna take my little grinder here and I wanna try to feather this out a little bit. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna clamp a paint stick to the outside edge here, like that. And we're gonna fill this missing area in with some JB weld. And we'll just let it dry overnight. And then we can unclamp it and hopefully just sand it down and shape it. It probably won't be super strong, but it'll look better than having a big gouge out of there, and it shouldn't really break because there's no reason why it would be getting pried on anymore. So let me grab the air hose and we'll kind of notch that out a little bit. And yes, I'm being smart today. I remembered my safety glasses. So now we're just gonna The reason why I did this and I tapered it like that is so that we can get some JB weld to go past the chipped area. So it kind of has something to bond into around this edge. I'm actually gonna go a hair more. That should be good. So now we'll clamp this on here. And what I want to do is I'm going to make it flush with the edge of the coin door, the wooden stick. I've got some clamps here, which I'm going to have to adjust. Of course, I grabbed one that's broken. Let me go grab another clamp because this one does not want to spin. Okay, clamp this other side. That's what it looks like. And I don't know if you can see in the camera here how it's away from the paint stick a little bit because I tapered that edge there. So now we can mix up a little bit of JB Weld. I'm just using regular JB Weld. Set time is 4 to 6 hours, cures in 15 to 24. We'll let it sit a full day, and then hopefully we can just sand it down and do maybe a tiny bit of body work and just be done with it. So we need to mix this. This is a 1-to-1 mix. You can see if I have a little spreader that we can use. All mine are pretty, oh, here's one. Use one of these little spreaders. And we're just gonna get some of both of these onto this cardboard here. Gotta poke them open. So basically you just take each one and you try to make the same size line next to each other like this. And then you just mix them both together just like you would with the body filler. I might need to mix up more. I don't know if this is enough or not. This stuff stinks. What I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna work it down this way. I'm gonna try to force it down a little bit. I wanna try to get the back edge smoother than the front. I'm not really worried about the front because I can body work that. Just don't wanna have too big a glob on the inside. Obviously I'm gonna have to have some because I need it for support. And I'm not worried if the paint sticks to this stuff. I'll get it off one way or another. I don't know if the wood will stick to this or not. Well, I think that's about all I'm going to be able to do with that. I guess I'd rather have it a little thicker than too thin. I'll sand it down one way or another. Okay. We are just going to let that dry enough the next day. And we're going to go outside and put some more simple green on that monitor. Just soak it down one more time. Okay, we'll let this sit for another couple minutes. I buy Simple Green at Home Depot. I bought this spray bottle and a gallon jug of it, and I've had it for probably a year and a half. So it lasts a while. Okay, I'm gonna get this rinsed off now. Look at all that black coming off of that. All that dirt from all those years. Okay, I brought it back inside so it can dry, but look at how clean that circuit board is now. No grime and dirt all over it anymore, it's all off. The only downfall is these stickers get wet and sometimes they come off, which kind of sucks, but I'd rather have a clean monitor in my game than something that's just filthy. So this will dry for a couple days and then we can start looking into rebuilding this chassis. All right, guys, I am ending part 3, I believe it is, for Qbert. And earlier, me and a couple guys brought the Buck Hunter Safari upstairs. Shipper's supposed to be here in a few hours to pick it up, and it is heading to Chicago to its new home. I gotta put the back door back on it. I had to take my locks off because I don't want to give my locks up because they all match. And here's an extra 27-inch flat screen monitor that needs rebuilt. So this is heading to its new home. Unfortunately, the whole time I owned it, it broke a couple times on me. I got it fixed and working and nobody ever played it. I played it a few times and that was pretty much it. Cool looking cabinet, just doesn't really fit with what I have going on in the basement. All right, guys, so this is gonna end Qbert part 3. Thanks for watching. If you like what you're seeing, please like and subscribe, and I will see you later.